Hello friends, it's Holy Week, it's Holy Monday, and today is a special day because it's April 6th, and that means it's the birthday of Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati. And I think there's no better way to kick off this Holy Week and to unite it to this birthday celebration than praying the Way of the Cross with Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati. His niece, Wanda Gravanska, sent us this past week an email with a Way of the Cross that they've prepared from the Frassati Association over in Italy on making this day a gift to Pier Giorgio by praying with him the Way of the Cross. So we've included that Way of the Cross, the link to that Way of the Cross in the description below the video. But I wanted to pause and take the opportunity to also reflect on the life of Pier Giorgio, because on many occasions we've said he's a man of our times. But I think in the midst of what we're living, he is certainly, more than ever, a man of our times. Pier Giorgio was born April 6, 1901, and he died in 1925. So he would have lived during the Spanish flu epidemic in 1918. And there's testimony saying that he dedicated himself to taking care of those who were suffering from that disease that brought a lot of uncertainty and worry and fear to many people in his day. But Pier Giorgio was a man who knew that his health couldn't be spent on himself. He had to spend it on others. And ultimately, the reason why he dies at such a young age is for that very reason. He was always dedicating himself out of charity for love of the poor. And he contracted polio, actually, from the very people he was helping. And I think this witness of his, of giving of our lives and making our lives a gift to others is beautifully spoken of in a book, a wonderful book, probably one of the best books that I think I've written, or not written, but read in regards to the life of the saints. It's written actually by his sister Luciana, and it's called My Brother Pier Giorgio, His Last Days. And it's a short little book that recounts the last week of his life. And he was a man of great wisdom because of his desire to really live the faith in all of its authenticity. His wisdom spans many things, but especially sadness. He brings to us words of wisdom in learning how to endure sadness in the midst of suffering. He says sadness should be banished from our Christian lives. Sadness, he recognizes, is not the same as sorrow. We can't banish the sorrow and suffering from our lives. That's impossible. The conditions that we live in, just the reality of life here on earth, is always going to be a reality wherein we find suffering. But Pier Giorgio is insistent on saying, even in the midst of the sufferings that we have to endure, we should banish sadness. And why is that? Because sadness, he says, is manifesting one thing. Sadness manifests that we are lacking in faith, that the sufferings we're enduring them with a lack of faith, because faith tells us that God still works in the midst of suffering. Is that not one of the messages, one of the teachings that the Lord offers us on the cross? The cross looks like defeat. The cross looks like an end, but it's not. It's victory. It's the beginning of a new life. Pier Giorgio says that we shouldn't be sad in the midst of suffering, because sufferings, if embraced as they should be embraced for love of God and love of our neighbor, are always life-giving. Embraced for God, it gives new life to our soul. Suffering embraced for love of others brings an abundance of graces not only into our life, but to theirs, hopefully as well. So let us remember this great example of the life of Pier Giorgio. He's always been a great influence on me, precisely because of that desire simply to live his life in the most fully Catholic way possible, allowing his faith to imbue everything that he does, everything that he desires in life, and it was beautifully lived. It was beautifully lived because Pier Giorgio knew how to beautifully live the joy of the cross. Let us take today to draw nearer to the cross of our Lord and draw near to it alongside Pier Giorgio, praying with him this Way of the Cross. God love you and God bless you, and know that we're praying for you here at the seminar.